In Orlando, Draymond Green was mad about a foul on Andrew Wiggins, so he gets in referee Ray Acosta's face and starts barking. Immediately teched up. Now he's really mad. Says, "Come on, man, we're having a conversation. What do you think I said? What do you think I said?" Now Steph's getting a little worried. One more tech and Dre is gone. So he gently pats Dre on the stomach like, "Okay, man, you made your point." Dre finally listens to Steph, but as he walks away, calls the ref a double tech out of the game. That is 21 ejections in Draymond's career, second only to Rasheed Wallace for most in NBA history. But we haven't seen this before. Steph can't believe it. And as he's walking back in, clearly starts crying, tries to hide his face under his jersey. Draymond has broken this man. Curry is such an even-keeled player. To get that reaction out of him is insane. But why was he crying? Some people think it's because the game was so important. The Rockets just won 10 in a row, about to knock Golden State out of the play, and they need Draymond. No, this was not about the game. This is bigger than that. We only see elite athletes cry for two reasons. Oh, just a few more games down the stretch. Even more fun with the little underdog. Last week was fun because we won. But hey, win or lose, I only play just to have fun. It makes whatever game I'm watching a little more exciting when I'm playing Pick'em. Pick higher or lower for that game or my favorite players. You can up to 20x your money in a single night. I only try to 3x my money. I usually play conservative. My two picks, first up is Josh Hart. We're gonna go less on his rebounds and assists. Victor Wembanyama is back. I think he's gonna dominate the boards. And then we got Domantas Sabonis. We're gonna go higher on his assists. This is almost a must-win game for the Kings, and Domas is the hub of their offense. And best of luck on those picks if you're tailing. Check out this match to see if underdog is available in your area, but always use the code AMHOOPS. You double your deposit up to 100 bucks. That is code AMHOOPS. One is winning a championship. LeBron broke down on the floor after winning one for Cleveland. The other time is when they're moved by family. Kevin Durant teared up accepting the MVP for his mom. Giannis cried when talking about his dad who had just passed. Isaiah Thomas, after his sister China, died in a car wreck one day before a game. But Steph's tears were more about Draymond as a friend. People said his career was over after choking Rudy Gobert and smacking Yusuf Nurkic. Dre promised to clean up his act, but Steph just realized in that moment he will never change. Just a few days before this, Dre pulled Patty Mills down by the neck and luckily didn't get called for a flagrant. It's just a matter of time before something really crazy happens again. But without Draymond, the Warriors held on in the second half because Andrew Wiggins was awesome, Gary Payton stepped up, Steph hit the dagger 3 and gave the night-night pose. After the game, Draymond hugged Steph for saving his butt. But if they lost that game, I don't think that hug happens. But the win didn't stop the media from blaming Steph for Dre's ejection. Back when he got suspended in December, Stephen A. Smith was the first person to say, "This is on Steph for bad leadership."
What about Steph Curry?
Accountability.
You are the leader. If this were a teammate of LeBron James, we'd be asking LeBron, what you gonna do about it?
Now, at the time, that seemed like a crazy thing to say. How does Draymond acting up reflect on Steph? Steve Kerr ripped Stephen A., saying he's an idiot. But does he have a point? I mean, LeBron would be held accountable and Steph is not, but whatever. I mean, Draymond came back from the suspension and played well, but that idea about Steph apparently caught on. Ex-player Jay Williams hinted that multiple NBA execs are now calling Steph out.
I'm getting texts from people that I really value their decision, right? High-level people. And what these texts are reading is, well, how about the leadership of Stephen Curry? That's where these conversations are going. And in my brain, right, processing information, Molly.
Wait, what do you mean? How about the leadership of Stephen Curry? They're calling Steph out?
Yes, right? For him not controlling Draymond.
So I don't even know what to make of that. I mean, does it mean that we think less of Steph as an all-time player? Okay, not in the top 10. I mean, I guess I can't imagine Michael Jordan crying because Dennis Rodman is acting out. But MJ and Rodman weren't close like Steph and Draymond. Those guys grew up together in the NBA. I don't hold this against Steph at all. But Draymond barely apologizes for the things that he does. The one thing he did say sorry for was putting Steph in this position the last time, and it's happening again. This was Dre the last time this happened.
Because he got crushed publicly for that, I'm going to apologize publicly. I sincerely apologize to Steph for my actions, because that was a tough pill to swallow. You have turning points in life, you have turning points in careers, and I've decided for this to be a turning point for me.
And it was at first. Draymond not only promised to stop smacking people on the court, he promised to stop the antics, in his words. When he came back, the Warriors started rolling. From the first game after the suspension, the Dubs went 14-6, dominating teams by 22, 23 points behind their D. With Dre on the floor, they became one of the best defensive teams in the league. He is averaging more points per game than he has in 6 seasons, shooting 39% from 3, his best since 2016. Clearly their second most important player behind Steph, so for him to get ejected 4 minutes into a gigantic game for the postseason is insane. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results? I mean, yes, it was kind of weak. I mean, he just kind of cursed at the ref while walking away, but dude, you have to know your reputation. Second most ejections in NBA history. That's why Steph was patting him like, yo, settle down. But he doesn't get it. So maybe Steph broke down, realizing nothing can be done. People talk about bad leadership. How do they know Steph isn't doing everything he can leadership-wise behind the scenes, and this happens again, and that is why he broke down? So maybe if the front office comes to him this offseason about moving on from Draymond, he will now say, just do what you gotta do. It did feel like a breaking point. But if not Draymond, something big is coming. The owner, Joe Lacob, said in mid-February, our plan 1, or 1A, is actually we'd like to be out of the tax. And we think we have a way to do that. Oh, but there's only one way. That means the Warriors will have about a $30 million budget to try to re-sign Clay and Chris Paul and add someone else. That's not going to improve this team. What, you want to run it back with Clay and CP3? No way. They have to add a lot more talent. They don't have the money. Dubs barely a play-in team with this roster. They've got to shake it up. So the only way to do that is to move on from either Klay Thompson or Chris Paul. Klay is up for an extension and would have to take a gigantic discount here. I mean, even if he took Draymond money, that is $24 million a year, almost their entire $30 million budget. Will Klay accept a lot less? If not, dude is gone. The other problem, CP's contract, or maybe it's a solution. The Dubs can pick up his $30 million bucks and it becomes a trade asset for a big time deal. You attach CP's money to say 2 first-round picks and 2 swaps. That exact deal lands them Jeremy Grant, Mikal Bridges, Julius Randle, but it also means keeping CP this offseason, which would get rid of Klay Thompson. But maybe the Dubs now look to trade Draymond Green. I know that sounds crazy because he is so important to them, but what good is that if he's constantly getting kicked out? You almost never see elite athletes break down like Steph just did. So maybe something crazy like trading Draymond might just happen. At least the young guys are playing well. That is really the only bright spot of this season for Golden State. So I went ahead and did a redraft of the 2023 class. Brandon Podziemski, of course, is in there way above where he got drafted at 19. But the crazy thing is where Scoot Henderson goes.